G'day, it's Jamie, and welcome to Where's My Yowie. Today, I'm going to talk to you about my favourite subject, me. So we'll get into it. I just wanted to tell everyone what's happening with the channel and what's going on and stuff like that. Okay, so my channel is monetized, in case you're wondering. I figure if YouTube is going to make money off me no matter what, well, and they want to give away money, I'm fine with that. If anyone thinks that I'm in it for the money, has never searched Trove looking for Yowie stories, because I've searched and searched that site for so long, and I reckon if I'm getting paid for it, it's about 50 cents an hour, which I'm getting from searching, and that's not including making the videos, it's just from searching the videos. I'm not an expert. Please don't ask me to name this, that, and the other about Yowies. I don't know. I know as much as you people do. I'm an enthusiast. I don't even reckon I'm a researcher. I call myself an enthusiast. I like to be known as a historian, but I'm not even that really. What I am is a Yowie parrot, because all I do is parrot back to his Yowie articles that I found on Trove. Okay, so I grew up in Sydney. Also, with the monetisation, with it, is that a crime, being monetised? Seriously, is there anything wrong with that? Like, seriously, I'm lucky if I get about $100 every 4 to 5 months. That's how much I make off YouTube. So I'm not in it for the money. I've been doing this for 3 years, and if that's all it's going to pay, you can't tell me I'm in it for the money. And what I usually do with that $100 is I spend it on a Chinese meal, takeaway. So like, what's takeaway Chinese? So like, what's my crime? What's my charge? Enjoying a meal, a succulent Chinese meal. If you know what I'm talking about there, and you promise not to touch my penis, and you know your judo, send me an email telling me what I'm on about, and the first 3 people to send me an email what I'm on about the succulent Chinese meal and what it is, I'll send them a t-shirt, and the first 3 people only. Okay, so I was born in Sydney, and grew up there till I was about, I'd say 13, 14, something like that. And but while I was in Sydney, I joined the Scouts, and like, I grew up in the middle of Sydney in the eastern suburbs, and like never did camping or anything like that before. So like, the Scouts was like a cool thing to do, I thought. And so the first camp we ever went on, and I remember it was either the Blue Mountains or the Hawkesbury River. I can't remember, because that's the main 2 places we always used to go. And so anyway, we're out in the middle in this campsite, and they put all us young kids that were first joiners, there was about 6 of us, in this tent way at the back of the camp, like furthest away from everything. And you had to walk like about 200 metres from where we were to the main camp area where the campfire was, because like they had the campfire separate area from where the tents were. And all the big kids planned all this, and they knew, and so they've cleared out early and left us in the dark to come walk down this path to the campfire for the nighttime meal and that. And it was really dark, mate. There was no moon out. It was like super dark, and all 6 of us, we were all shit scared. And we had this crappy little torch that couldn't see hardly anywhere in front of us, and that was it. And so like, we're all huddled together, and we're walking down this path, and we get about halfway down the path, and there's this big overhanging tree over the path, and all of a sudden you just hear this God Almighty roar, and the branches of the tree were like shaking like crazy. It scared the hell out of everyone. There was a kid behind me that was like twice my size, big football player kid. I just turned around and started running, and I freight trained him. I actually stood on him as I went over the top of him and kept going. And then I got about 20 metres down the path, and then I heard the laughter, and then realised I knew which kid it was from the laughter, and he was up in the tree, but scared the hell of us. And that's why you should never tell kids about Yowies until they're old enough not to be scared of anything in the bush. Okay, so then then we moved to northern New South Wales, to West Tweed Heads, near the Tweed, it's Tweed Heads, West Tweed Heads. And we moved out there, and at the time there was a murderer getting around. He was also a rapist, known as the Bella Club murder. and he actually committed rape and murder in a park that was like 300-400 metres away from my place where I lived. And it was just me and my mum, and this guy actually used to stalk my mum and me at home over night time, and he'd come around and tap all the windows in the dark. He'd turn the taps on and off outside, and like one night I remember I was in my room asleep, and I woke up, and through the bottom crack of it was in the dark, through like the bottom crack of the curtains, about that much through the window, I could see this guy walking around outside this night. It was like super freaky and scary, and it ruined me forever from being out in the dark of a night time. I am really uncomfortable in the dark of a night time, and that's ruined it for me. And then don't even ask me about checking the locks on the doors and the windows, because I can make a whole nother video about that. Okay, so then also we moved just before we moved to West Tweed. We were out at Mudgera Bar, and that was where I got my first introduction to Yowies. I never believed in them, and I've never believed in Yowies until I saw my first one in 2012. So before 2012, I thought all you people were idiots. I thought you should be locked up in a lunatic asylum for believing in Yowies, and then I saw one, and now I've changed my tune, obviously. But yeah, we moved to Mudgera Bar, and there was this cafe at Mudgera Bar at the time, just down from the Wallaby Bob's pub, and it was called the Bunyip Cafe. And it was because there was pinball machines there, that's why the kids used to hang there. And up on the walls of the Bunyip Cafe were like pictures of bunyips and yowies, and there was newspaper articles and stuff like that. That was my first introduction to hearing about a thing called the yowie ever. I never believed in yowies. The only thing closest thing, I don't even believe in Bigfoots either. The closest thing I knew of a Bigfoot was Andre the Giant in the $6 Million Man playing the robot Bigfoot alien. Okay, so then a couple of years later, I became a merchant seaman, which is a crew member on a ship that carries cargo, not military ships like I was carrying, all tankers or container ships or coal or stuff like that. And I remember we were out in the ocean this day. I'm pretty sure it was the Indian Ocean, but I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it was. And it was like a sheet of glass this day out on the water. It was amazing. It was just like the ocean was so flat and calm and not a ripple of wind on the water at all. It was just like being on a big sheet of glass. And in the distance, you could see this thing moving along, and for all the world, it looked like a sea serpent going like this through the water. And it was only like 40, 50 metres long, but it was travelling. You could see it travelling along. And as we got closer and closer, and I'm looking at it through the binoculars, and it was just a wave. And I always think back, because looking through binoculars and just looking at it with the naked eye, it was a sea monster, mate, I'm telling you. It was just one single wave on this sheet of glass. It was like really crazy, and it was doing this. And if I didn't have binoculars, I would have sworn I saw a sea serpent, because it just so much looked like it, because you could see it like, it was incredible. And then another time, and this was in the Atlantic, in the southern Atlantic Ocean, very, very southern. And we're going on this day on the ship, and I was on lookout again. And I could see up ahead, looked to be this giant fin sticking out of the water that was like massive. It was like more than 6 feet sticking out of the water, massive big fin. And as we were getting closer, and I thought it was just like a giant shark, like a megalodon or something like that in the water. It was just pretty crazy looking. And then as the ship got closer, it dived under the water, and then a huge big head popped up, and it was a giant elephant seal, probably nearly 20 feet long. And apparently that's what they do when they're hunting at sea, the elephant seals. They go face down in the water with their tail up, and they bob on the surface, and they're looking for food underneath the whole time. And for all the world, it looked like a giant fin. It was pretty amazing. And then on another voyage, and this would have been down, getting close to Antarctica, but not quite, in the Southern Ocean, the Aurora Australis, the Southern Lights in the sky. That's one of the most incredible things I've ever seen in my entire life, and it's easy to see why early seamen were spooked about seeing the northern and southern lights in the sky, because you've got all these moving coloured cloudy type things that are like really strange looking. And like, even though I knew 100% what it was when I was looking at it, It was still the most freakiest thing I've ever seen. Okay, so then years later, I ended up leaving the Gold Coast Tweed area, and I moved to northern New South Wales and started living at Bald Mountain at Limpenwood. And one day going shopping one early morning, and it was like about 8:30 in the morning on this country road. I saw me cougar, the first time I ever seen a cougar. Never thought at once it was a cat. At first I thought it was a dog, then probably a fox maybe, but it was as big as like a Labrador dog, even bigger. And it was eating some sort of roadkill on the side of the road, and I slowed down because I didn't want to have it run out in front of me and hit whatever it was. And I slowed down to virtually a stop, and it turned around and looked at me, and it was for all the world a cougar. Looked at me right in the face. It did two bounds. It was across the road and over a 6-foot high fence, and just shot off into the bush. And the way it ran was like the most incredible thing ever. And then one morning I was going fishing in the dark from Bald Mountain, and this was just down the road from Bald Mountain, and I saw the either thylacine or thylacoleo, I don't know what it was, but it was this massive big dog-looking beast, but it had thick stripes, not brindle, but thick like what you'd see on a thylacine stripes. And I'm sure there was a black one standing next to it as well, and they were eating some sort of roadkill on the side of the road again, and both of them couldn't have cared less about me or what I was doing. I didn't have a camera at the time, and I couldn't turn around where I was on the road because it was country road. But I was going fishing, but it was like stumped me. I don't know what I saw, but it was incredible. It was either a big thylacine or a big thylacoleo. It was like tan coloured with the big thick stripes, and then there was a black one standing next to it, and that was like awesome to see. I wish I'd have got a better look at that. I wish I'd have stopped. And then the Yowie started coming around in 2013, 2012, sorry, in Bald Mountain. It only came around the middle of the night in the dark. It scared the hell out of me. It used to scratch or scrape. You could hear it walk. At first, you could hear it walking down of a night time. And I never used to take much notice because it was always in the middle of the night. And I used to figure, unless it's trying to break in, I don't really care what you are, because you used to see all types of creatures out there. But it was just, you knew it was heavy, and you could hear it clearly hear bipedal footsteps walking on concrete, and heavy. And you could hear it all the time. Then it used to scrape something down the side of the house. I don't know whether it was a stick or its claws or something else, but it used to scratch something. I never found any evidence ever of Yowies there. Mum heard it scraping the side of the house, and then she was pretty sick at the time this day, and she said to me, it took her a while to get it out, but she was sitting in the lounge room, I was in my room doing something, and she called me out, and she said through the kitchen window she could see a hairy man staring at her through the window. I don't know, can't remember if it was one or two, but there was a hairy man standing out there. And at the time, I didn't put two to two together that it was a hairy man, she meant a Yowie. I just assumed she meant it was a hairy person, a human. And it took her a while to get it out. But I went out and had a look, but I didn't really believe her. I thought she might have been hallucinating. I was 100% sure. But thinking back on it now, it's like, why would she have said hairy man, you know? It's really strange. And like, I saw the Yowie this night it was in the dark. It was just moving. Because it was dark outside and dark in my room, but you clearly see there was something outside, because you could see the horizon, even though the moon wasn't out. You could still see the horizon and make out the mountains on the horizon. And this thing walked by the side of the house. It was 8 foot tall. Scared the hell out of me, especially with the scraping, and when I knew what the scraping was a Yowie, that used to just freak me right out. And because of the balaclava murderer is why I did not go outside. I didn't want nothing to do with outside in the dark. Okay, so then I moved, and I was blessed at Bald Mountain, and I was blessed at Bribie Island. I've never had to look for Yowies. They've seemed to come to me, the two that I've seen. I'm not going to be going looking for Yowies anymore out in the bush. Not that I've really done it. But my back is gone. I've got real back problems at the moment, and walking through the bush is not going to happen. So then after Bald Mountain, I moved to Barringbar for a while, and then I got flooded out in the 2017 floods of ex-cyclone Debbie, where I had a metre of water through the house. And so I was like, that's it, I can't live here anymore, I've got to move. And so then I moved to Bribie Island, and I was fortunate at Bribie Island because where I used to take the dog for a walk, was where I saw the Yowie, and like we used to walk that bush path every day. I reckon I walked that in 3 years. I did well over 1,000 trips down that path. So I was down there quite regularly, and I didn't think there was Yowies down there, but it was. I used to see and I was watching Yowie videos, and especially and Bigfoot videos, and you'd see tree breaks and tree snaps and stuff like that. And so I just didn't think nothing of it. But then one morning I was taking Mr. Chili for a walk, my dog, and he found the footprint. He drew me to it. And I went over and had a look, and it was a three-toed footprint, which was like my first, second, or third video was on that three-toed footprint. And that really opened my eyes about it all and all that. And then I started noticing the signs, took more notice of the signs on Bribie Island with the tree breaks and stuff like that. And you can thank AYR for my channel existing, because they weren't interested in my story of my sighting of the Yowie at Bald Mountain or what I'd found at Bribie Island. And because they were interested, I still wanted to get the word out there, because I want people to know about Yowies. And so that's how I started my channel, because they ignored me, which is fine. And yeah, and so then the Yowie I saw on Bribie Island I'm so blessed to have seen that. I'm so thankful too that I didn't actually get to film it, because I would have been ridiculed, because if you had seen what I saw, it was just a brief glimpse, and it wouldn't have proved nothing, and I would have been called a hoax or a faker or something like that, and I'm not, but that's what you would have thought. But I'm so blessed to have seen what I saw, because the way this thing, because I could see the white stick, it was holding the white stick in its hand walking along, right? And it was black, and with the shadows of the trees, I couldn't see the Yowie, but I could see the stick moving. And that was what drew my attention to it. And I was like, it was through a set of trees. It was like, there's a row of trees there, another row of trees there, and he was walking in between them, and with the shadows behind him. And but I could see the stick, and I was like, what is that stick? Is that a neck of a bird or something like that? It was really crazy. And I was like, that's too long to be. And by the time I realised what's going on, it stepped into the sunlight for like 2 steps, and then back into the shadows and gone. And mate, it was like a magic trick. The way it did it, it was big. It had big shoulders, big head. It was about 6 to 8 feet tall. I can't really tell you exactly, but it was bigger than me. I know that. And when the sunlight hit the fur around its like shoulders, especially, you could see it was red, like because it was like bits of hair sticking up along the shoulder. You could see the red tinges of it, which was really cool. But I was so blessed to see that Yowie. And so then I've moved up to Harvey Bay, where I am now, and I've gone fishing down in the river down there, which you can probably see over that way it is. And I've gone fishing this day, and I just got a glimpse of it, but I got a good look at it. This thing stuck up out of the water, and the water's like brown murky. You cannot see under the water one bit at all. You can't see under the water. It was about that thick at the base, and about that thick at the top, and it was about that high come out of the water, this long triangular thing. It was a muddy blue brown, like what mad crabs look like, right? There's the colour of it, and then on each edge of the triangle was like red hairy things looking like what you'd see fish gills. And it popped out of the water and went back down. And I have no idea to this day what it is. If you know what that is, please let me know, because I'd love to know what that was. Because it's only like that wide at the bottom, and only about that wide at the top. And it was about that high, about 2 feet out of the water. And it was muddy brown, blue, and red on it. So that's about it for me. That's the things I've seen and doing. I'm running out of Yowie stories, unfortunately. I'm down really low. I've only got like one Yowie story at the moment that I'm saving to do, historical ones, but I'm running out of them because I'm just looking for tigers, so don't forget about 10 little tigers. But I'm finding a few other stories, but I'm running low on them, I'll tell you that right now. So if I'm off for a week or two, I'm sorry about that, but I just haven't got them. I'll try and make a few more of these type videos to fill in the gaps. But yeah, thanks for watching my videos, that's awesome. Also, these t-shirts, I've still got them for sale. They're 2 for $30, one for $30 or 2 for $50. posted anywhere to you. That's including posters. Posted anywhere in Australia. I've got 4 colours. I've got a white one, a grey one, a dark blue one, and a black one. There's limited sizes in the black and blues, but I've got most sizes from M, medium, large, extra large, 2XL, and some 3XLs. And also don't forget, if you know what I'm talking about, with a succulent Chinese meal, send me an email about that and you can get a free one. Okay, that's it from me. I'll get back to you all next time. Bye.